All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. It's Dr. Ephraim. Today's day is October 30th, 2022. Shalom, everyone. If you're new to the channel, welcome. All my new subscribers. And if you're new or you've been here for a while, make sure you hit that subscribe button and select all so you'll be notified every time I upload a new presentation. All right, I want to thank you all for continuing to like the videos and commenting, because that all helps with the algorithm, moving the channel forward. So I really appreciate that. Thank you sincerely. All right, this lesson right here, man, I had to do, and I had to be careful the way I worded it, because I didn't want to get flagged or get whatever the case may be, and still be able to monetize it with YouTube or whatever. But I have to put this out there, because now I'm starting to see where a lot of our people who really have no idea about DNA and all, they're starting to get DNA tests done now. And what I see is basically a disinformation campaign. They're trying to say that King Ramses III was E1B1A, okay? And I'm going to show and prove that that's not true. And even if it was, why what it would mean if he really was E1B1A. But we're going to let the Bible speak. We're going to set it off with that. But I had to do this, man, because it's just so unfair, man, that they would do that. So basically they're trying to get our people to believe basically that they Egyptians. So you mean to tell me the Egyptians enslaved themselves, and then they went into slavery on slave ships to get to America? I mean, come on, man. Like, it's crazy. But we're gonna deal with it from my DNA data, what it says for me, and I'm E1B1A, what it says generally for E1B1A, where that haplotype and haplogroup came from, and E1B1B and all that. We're gonna deal with all that. All right, and we're gonna let like I said, I'm gonna set it off and let the Torah tell us who is Ham, who came from Ham, who did the Egyptians come from. All right, let's get it. All right, Genesis 10:6 tells us who the sons of Ham are, and it tells us that the sons of Ham are Cush, Mitzrayim, Put, and Canaan, or the Hermetic Africans. Right now, remember, this is what helped me to uncover who these races were genetically, right? Because the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary said the same thing that Genesis 10:6 is telling us, except it threw us a caveat. It said, yeah, these are the sons of Ham, the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Africans, and the Libyans, but not the Negroes. And that's what set me on my journey to find out and identifying who the Negroes were. And I found out that the Negroes were Bantus. All of us, we're all Bantus. That's what Negro meant in the Zondervan, right? So what that caveat is telling us, and I put this out there. This is a part of my lesson, but now I'm doing an exclusive lesson on this, because I just see too much of it going on. I see people with, our people doing videos talking about they E1B1A the same as Ramses and all that. Nah, enough. Please, y'all got to share this video. Please share this. Get this out to get this information out to our people. The Ethiopians came out of Cush. All right, they're Hermetic. Ethiopians are not all of them, but a lot of them are converted Jews. They converted to Judaism. They're not from the seed of Jacob. Okay, Egyptians came up out of Mitzrayim. That's where Egyptians came up out of. All right, the Libyans came up out of Put, and the Hermetic Africans came out of Canaan. All right, let's go. Next slide. All right, and as a small addendum to my research and me finding out the DNA of those Hermetic races of people, it says people also ask, I'm gonna read it, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I'm gonna read it for you. It says people also ask, who did the Egyptians descend from in the Bible? And the answer clear as day, Ham. Okay, according to the Bible, the ancient Egyptians were descended from Ham through the line of Mitzrayim. Let me say it again. Egyptians were descended from Ham through the line of Mitzrayim. All right, and I've been saying that from day one, man. Come on, my people. They really trying to do it to us, man. But we can't allow it. Well, we got too much knowledge now. We know the Most High raised me up to bring this DNA forth to our people, and they running scared, man. They let the cat out the bag already. E1B1A is the children of Israel, man. Stop playing with me. Next slide. Let's get it. All right. Genesis 10:6 already identified who the sons of Ham are. All right. So I took that information and I researched the Y DNA haplotypes of those 4 races or nations of people. And here, this is what you're looking at. I put this together. This is the Hermetic DNA data, right? Let me bring up my so I can. All right. As you can see, I don't know if you all can read this, but on the far left it says that these are the Hamitic groups. All right, and I put it in red so it can kind of stand out to you. I got E1B1A, which is the Bantus and all the Negroes all across the world, and then right next to it is E1B1B. Now again, all these Hamitic groups are on the left. Then you have like the Algerians, the Ethiopians, and obviously there's couple different types of Ethiopians. They have Libyans, Datog, Bargor, Beja, Southern Egyptians, mixed Ethiopians, Maasai. All of these are Hamitic Africans, basically. So if you look where it says E1B1A in red right there, you see basically the biggest percentage of E1B1A is someplace called the Amhara Ethiopian. This is about 5.8% of their people possess the E1B1A. Not significant at all, and we know we mixed in with every nation, so to see a small percentage of us mixed in with some, African race of people, that's not uncommon, right? So go down the list. Well, let's start to the very top. Algerian, 0% E1B1A. Ethiopian, Aromaho, 2.5%. Ethiopian Wolate or Waleta, 0%. Ethiopian Oromo, 0%. Ethiopian Amhara, 5.8%. And then this Iraq, Libyan, I don't know what NT means, but I guess, it probably meant not tested. But that's okay, we keep it moving. The Tunisian, 0% E1B1A. Southern Egyptians, not tested. Mixed Ethiopians, 0% E1B1A. And the Maasai, another Hamitic group, not tested. But I figured theirs out because Barack Obama is from the Maasai tribe. And he's E1B1B. So Maasai is E1B1B too, but for this data right here, they're not listed or whatever. Now let's go over to E1B1A. The Algerian, 65% E1B1B. Ethiopian, 60% E1B1B. Ethiopian Balata, 58% E1B1B. Ethiopian Oromo, 56% E1B1B. Ethiopian Amhara, 50% E1B1B. The Iraq, whatever, 55.5% E1B1B. Libyan, 55% E1B1B. Datog, whatever that is, 54.2% E1B1B. Tunisian, 51% E1B1B. Southern Egyptians, not tested. Mixed Ethiopians, 50% E1B1B. Maasai, 50% E1B1B. Now, what that means, my people, in comparison to the E1B1A, these groups are overwhelmingly 50% and above, and this is just based on this particular data, the ones that they tested, right? It might have been a small sample size, we don't really know, but the logical conclusion could be made that because these races of people, and these are the people that Zondervan and Genesis 10 and 6 tells us are the sons of Ham. More than 50% of them possess the E1B1B. So what that logically tells us, and what we can logically conclude, is that those Hamitic races of people, their Y DNA is E1B1B. They're not the same as us, E1B1A. See, you might think, the people who don't know about DNA, you might think that A and B is not a big deal, but that last letter is a huge deal. The E1B1A and the E1B1B says we are from two totally separate genetic bloodlines, right? So that being said, on to the next slide. All right, this screenshot, as you all can see, it says this is from December of 2012. Okay, it says Ramses III's DNA is E1B1B, right? But then it goes on to say the test also revealed he was murdered. And they said genetic kinship, because they basically found two mummies they assumed was another smaller mummy was Ramses' son. All right, they said genetic kinship analysis revealed identical haplotypes in both mummies. Using the Whit-Ethes haplogroup predictor, we determined the Y chromosomal haplogroup is E1B1A. The testing of polymorphic autosomal microsatellite loci provided similar results in at least one allele of each marker. They said although the mummy of Ramses III's wife Tai was not available for testing, the identical Y chromosomal DNA and autosomal half allele sharing of the two male mummies strongly suggests a father-son relationship. Now, so what I do see is that they were saying back then, erroneously that Ramses III was E1B1A. So I kind of stand corrected. I thought they kind of just started saying that after, the whole E1B1A, children of Israel thing and all that. But apparently they were saying it back then. But it's still incorrect, because in the next segment I'm going to show you where I don't know if this guy's a geneticist who did this or put this together, but he put together a little deal to show them that they were wrong, and their predictor was wrong, that Ramses is E1B1B, just like it says here. So let me go ahead and bring that up real quick, and I'm gonna try to give a little narrate the little piece. Give me a second. All right, here we go. It says, why does Ramses III and son really belong to haplogroup E1B1B and not E1B1A, even though Whit-Apthey's haplogroup predictor tool says that they belong to E1B1A? All right. And then he goes on to say here, he's bringing up the little, because I guess I don't know what he's doing here, but this person is kind of narrating it, but I'm doing my little thing for y'all. There it goes. This is like the little autosomal chart. It says, revisiting the harem conspiracy and the death of Ramses III, an anthropological, forensic, radiological, and genetic study. It says, using the Whit-Apthey's haplogroup predictor, we determined the Y chromosomal haplogroup E1B1A using Whit-Apthey's predictor. All right, the Whit-Apthey's predictor resulting in Ramses III and son belonging to haplogroup E1B1A, but this is why he got it wrong. He's going to show us here coming up real quick. Whit-Apthey. And it goes, this place here called NevGen predictor resulting in Ramses III and his son being haplogroup belonging to E1B1B. And he's going to tell us why. Because NevGen predictor resulting in Ramses III and sons belonging to haplogroup E1B1B, he used something he should have used that Whit-Apthey did not use. And that something is called, well, he goes in this explain it. He says the reason for the discrepancy between Whit-Apthey's and NevGen's is that Whit-Apthey does not include the option for GATA4. NevGen places Ramses III and his son in their proper genetic context of E1B1B. There we go. So whatever that GATA H4 is, Whit-Apthey didn't use it, and so that's why he came out with the wrong haplotype for Ramses. So Ramses is not E1B1A, and just like the Genesis 10 and 6 tells us, and their DNA tells us. So I just wanted to include this little meme, because I mean, for years they've been lying to us, man. When we know nothing about no DNA or whatever, we had to rely on just lies that they would tell us where we came from, right? But all that's over with, man. For years and years, they've been trying to tell us we was from the curse of our slavery was the curse of Ham, and black folks from the curse of Ham and all that kind of stuff. Well, y'all been telling a Ham lie all these years, man, because genetics don't lie. Remember how I always tell y'all, genetics tell the truth. It outs the truth, man, whether you want to accept it or not. And for years they've been lying to us, but our DNA says, no, we are not from Ham. All right, and we can prove it genetically. Next slide. And then I took my DNA test, by grace and mercy of the Most High, raising me up and leading me on my journey and discovering that I was E1B1A 7A. All right, and as you can see in this little piece right here, confirmed Yoruba. All right, E1B1A 7A. This is from Family Tree DNA, right? The same family tree that told the truth about E1B1A. But if you go to Family Tree DNA, my people, and if someone can find it, if it's still there, please tell me. I couldn't find it. I think they got rid of it. When I called them out, I didn't see it. It might still be there, but I couldn't find it. But this next segment is going to get right into it, man. Mr. Bennett Greenspan, shout out to Family Tree DNA, because he said haplogroup E1B1A. And this is what I think. This is from the biggest DNA company in the world, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Family Tree DNA is the biggest. It said E1B1A. This haplogroup is predominantly sub-Saharan African. So that's what he started with. He led with that, right? He said it's the most common haplogroup among African Americans / Bantus. Wink, wink, right? Then he said some other little yada yada, and then it says this indicates that while this haplogroup E1B1A is certainly not a founding lineage for Jews, it was present in very small amounts at the formation of the ancient Israelite nation. Let me say that one more time. I got to say it one more time, man. It says, although He said E1B1A, it indicates that while this haplogroup, E1B1A, that's us, my people, is certainly not a founding lineage for Jews, it was present in very small amounts at the time of the formation of the ancient Israelite nation, man. As my grandmama would say, man, you tell the truth and shame the devil, man. And I guarantee you, any of our people that saw that probably wouldn't even be able to put it together. That's why the Most High raised me up and I put it together. That's telling us who we are right there, my people, without telling us. He tried to downplay us by saying it's certainly not a founding lineage, but it goes on to say we was present in very small amounts at the time of the formation of the ancient Israelite nation. Well, let me explain something to you, Mr. Greenspan. If E1B1A was there at the present, at the formation of the ancient Israelite nation, that means we are Israelites, because who else would be there? At the formation of the ancient Israelite nation. Like, stop playing with us. Like, I mean, come on, I mean, this is crazy. But it was hiding in plain sight. But they didn't expect the Most High to raise one of us up to put it all together, my people. You see what I'm saying? But he told the truth and shamed the devil on that. If E1B1A was present in small amounts, and this is coming from the biggest DNA company in the world, then that means we are the Israelites without question. Because who else would we be at the formation of the ancient Israelite nation? That mixed multitude, that might have came later when we, after we was established, got to the promised land, all that. But at the formation of the ancient Israelite nation, E1B was there. Then that means we're Israelites. Let's just see right beyond the BS. Next slide, man. All praise due to the Most High, man, for real, for now and forever. And here's my DNA data before they changed the format, right? And I knew they was going to do it, my people. I knew it, man. Like I know the back of my hand. I knew they was going to do this. That's why I was like, yo, get y'all go in and get y'all test, get y'all E1B1A, whatever, because I knew they was going to try to switch it up. But this is my paternal line, E1B1A7A, and it says E1B1A7A is a subgroup of E1B1A. Now that says EP252. So all of you, brothers that got your DNA, Y-DNA haplotype saying EP252, that's Israel. All right, or EM something, EM1O or EM, that's Israel. All right, and it says E1B1A branch of haplogroup E predominates Africa south of the Sahara, where it spread about there. Here we go, 4,000 years ago, in conjunction with the expansion of the Bantu-speaking people out of Western Africa. There we go. Right. So if we are to believe that Ramses is E1B1A like us, so that means he was a slave then. That means he's a Bantu. No, he's not, and it makes no sense, and that's why I just think it's messed up if they're doing this deliberately to try to confuse our people or what. But if Ramses was E1B1A, that means his history would be exactly as ours, and we know that's not true. His history was nothing like ours. He's not E1B1A because he's not a Bantu and he's not an Israelite. He's a Hamitic. He was a Hamitic African, just like it says in Genesis 10:6 in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Right, straight up. Next slide. All right, and this right here, which to my knowledge they said is no longer there, but when I took my DNA test, like I said, I was at an advantage because none of this information was out there as far as the E1B1A being the lost children of Israel and all that. But as y'all can see here, if y'all can't see it, it says my global similarity. It says global similarity map, and it says my reference population for my DNA, E1B1A7A or EP252. My reference population was Middle Eastern. Again, they told the truth here because they was at a disadvantage. They told the truth, my people. You see what I'm saying? So if we are to believe that Ramses was E1B1A like me and like many of you, that means his reference population was Middle Eastern too. Nah. Now check this out. It says let me I ain't gonna read all of it, but let me try to get the highlight. Check this out. Go to the very bottom, the very last paragraph on my global similarity map. That's why I screenshotted everything, so I have my proof, y'all. And they said we consider the Near East to be bordered by the Mediterranean and Black Seas to the west, the Caucasus Mountains to the northeast, the Arabian Peninsula to the south, and the Zagros Mountains to the east. The 23andMe database includes Near Easterners from the Palestinian, Druze, and Bedouin populations living in Israel. Our database reflects some of the genetic diversity of the Near East prior to the era of the intercontinental travel that began roughly 500 years ago. Our database reflects, where's that little part at? Near Easterners living from the Palestinian, Druze, and Bedouin populations living in Israel. Yeah. Tell the truth, shame the devil, man. Next slide. I love y'all. I love my people. Next slide. Yeah. And this is showing my E1B1A 7A down in Israel, my people. Again, this right here, this is no longer there. But I mean, it clearly shows where we were, and it shows the mass exodus up out of there. It's like we were present, and then we were on the move, and we all know what happened with that. And I did a couple lessons on that. But I mean, you see my DNA, man. So if we to believe that Ramses III was E1B1A like us, then this was his story too. He's an Israelite, and his and he he was a Hebrew, and and I'm gonna say this because I gotta say this because it's important, because I don't want anyone to think that, first of all, it would be disingenuous for me to try to say, we aren't mixed in with the Egyptians. I mean, we were in their land for 430 years. I mean, come on, I'm not stupid. There was some mixing going on, right? I'm pretty sure there were some Egyptian women that had babies by Hebrew men, maybe on the low or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because let's just say for its and giggles, Ramses III was E1B1A, right? That's possible because, I mean, we were there, right? But if he was, yet he lived his life as an Egyptian, like Joseph did, his mother must have had an affair on his father, right? And the DNA of Ramses would out him as what he really was by blood, an Israelite, even though he lived and died as an Egyptian. Y'all following me? Because y'all know I share stories all the time about how DNA outs people for different things, or and that could very well be the case too if we take on face value. Let's say he was E1B1A. He might have been E1B1A genetically, but he sure didn't live his life as no E1B1A, because if he did, his history would be our history, and it's not. We know that. Come on, don't even play with us like that, right? But is it a remote possibility? He very well could be, yeah, remotely. But at the same time, even if he was, which I believe he was not, it's sending the wrong message to our people, because our people who don't know any better, they're thinking that, well, wow, we must have really been Egyptians. Yeah, that's right. We were kings and queens, and no, it's not right. We're not Nubians. We're not Egyptians, man. Those races of people are Hamitic races of people, all right? Negroes, Bantus, we are Shemitic people, okay? We are from the line of Shem. God in heaven knows I've shown and proven that time and time again, man. That's why it really sucks for me to be a relative unknown, and my videos not really getting no real views, this and that, because I really want to get this message out to our people, man. I feel like it's a disinformation campaign, No, I don't believe Ramses was E1B1A, because his story would be our story, and it is not. And I've shown and proven many a times that Egyptians are from the bloodline of Ham. Negroes, us, Bantus, E1B1As are not from Ham. Our bloodline is different from all those dark races of people. I've shown and proven that over and over, man. Like, stop playing with me. I just pray that the Most High, man, open it up and just get to the masses of our people. There's a few other things I kind of wanted to include, but I don't want to. I think I got the gist. Let me go and check something real quick, and let me see if I'm going to close this out. Y'all give me 1 second. All right, my people, this is the last slide I'm going to present. And it's giving a nice thorough overview of our haplogroup E1B1A. I think I showed and proved what I needed to show and prove. You feel me? So let's see here. I'm gonna read this, and then we're gonna wrap it up. It says haplogroup E1B1A, including all of its sublineages, is present in all groups, excluding the Nambian Kausion, and was found at a frequency of 68.5% in the entire data set. This is in agreement with previous studies of African Y chromosomal variations. With respect to the sublineages of E1B1A type tear, the most frequent haplogroup in the combined data set was E1B1A8, which was found in all groups except in the Nambian Kausion, which are, however, represented by only 6 individuals. Okay. All Bantu-speaking groups showed relatively high frequencies of this haplogroup, ranging from 18 to 62%. Remember, this is probably like old data or whatever, but we still can get a thorough overview in terms of the numbers, even for back when they did this data right here, whatever. With the exception of the South African Bantu, where the frequency was only 12.5%. Remember, we mixed in with a lot of Hamitic tribes, so that's not uncommon. However, this is due to the small sample size. There we go. This is due to the small sample size and not significantly different from other groups. 95%. The second most common haplogroup, E1B1A7A, that would be me, my people, and many of you, or EP252, let me say that, is present in African populations with an average frequency of 23% and shows moderately high frequencies in all Bantu and Pygmy groups. Remember that brother that read the definition? Bantus, Pygmies, all Bantus, man, all Israelites. That Bantu expansion was a Hebrew Israelite expansion. They never tell us where the Bantus were before that 4,000 year expansion. And it said the highest frequencies are found in Nigeria. Come on now. And Bantu speakers come from Cameroon, 46%, which are both regions that are close to the putative homeland of the Bantu languages. So that, my people, I'm going to end on that note. I said everything I needed to say, man. We let the Bible speak, the Torah, DNA, genetics, all that. There's no way Ramses III is E1B1A, because if he was, that means that his history would be exactly as ours, and it's not if he was an Egyptian. And we know he lived and died as an Egyptian, so we know that if by chance he was E1B1A, his mother was cheating on his father on the low, and his DNA outs him as an Israelite by blood, but he lived and died as an Egyptian. I mean, I can't get no more clearer than that. But just so I'm clear, I do not believe he was E1B1A. I think they put out, that was erroneous. And that one little piece showed that, the predictor, he didn't use that Gata H4, and so it didn't come out right. But the predictor he used on the second one, he used that Gata H4, which apparently is something you have to use when you're trying to do the haplotypes, predict the haplotypes, and it came out E1B1B. So there you go. All right, my people. I'm going to upload this in a minute. I'm about to give me something to eat. Until next time, let's talk to Ephraim signing off. I hope y'all enjoyed the presentation. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, welcome. And make sure you hit that subscribe, like the videos, comment. Until next time, let's talk to Ephraim signing off, saying Shalom, elect.